You're listening to Pombo and Peter's Picks, the home of your favorite sports betting podcast. Presented by The Daily Goat.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Pombo and Peter's Picks. I'm Jason Pombo, joined as always by Peter Alves. How are we doing today, Peter? Happy Super Bowl week.
Happy Super Bowl week. You know what is on Sunday?
What?
Oh, The Walking Dead. It's more important than the Super Bowl.
Oh my goodness. And that's when we wrap up the show right there. Peter, I know you love The Walking Dead. I know you're a diehard fan. You have been for at least 10 years, maybe?
Yeah, like 11. Since it's on Sunday, obviously we're not going to watch it. So I'm going to have to watch it at midnight. So it's all good.
Well, I'm sorry you're going to have to miss The Walking Dead for the Super Bowl. I know that's a real tragedy, but check out Peter's articles on The Walking Dead. They're always very informative, and Peter is one of the few passionate fans remaining left in that fan base that is diminished quite a bit over the last 5 or 6 years. But Peter, without further ado, we have a big show lined up. As we said, it is Super Bowl week, and we felt that it would be necessary to kick off everybody's Super Bowl week by having on two important guests. So we are going to bring on Brandon Carr and Noah Berndt of Roughing the Basket. They're going to help us break down the Super Bowl. We're going to preview it, talk about our game picks, some different prop bets. So how's it sound, Peter? Sound good?
Yeah, we love Roughing the Basket in this podcast.
All right, Roughing the Basket, welcome aboard.
Thanks for having us. Super Bowl week, very exciting time for football. Bengals versus Rams. We're going to get into all of it today. I'm very excited to be on.
Yeah, it's a real privilege to be on this podcast. I'm honored. So thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
I feel like everybody, well, Peter does anyway. Peter calls me the third unofficial member of Roughing the Basket because I'm on every once in a while. So,
well, to be fair, when the Rams won, instantly we're like, Matt Stafford, I know it's got to be on. Yep. And then we're like, no, we're just going to have a whole Roughing the Basket on.
So Noah, that's a good way to start because a year ago at this time, Tom Brady, obviously a former Patriot, was in the Super Bowl.
But he's not anymore. Loser.
Peter made my point. I was rooting for Brady. Peter was not rooting for Brady in the Bucs. So Peter went against Brady. I was for Brady. Now, obviously, Matt Stafford, former Detroit Lion. So are you pro Stafford in this game or are you anti Stafford in this game?
As a Lions fan, man, this is our Super Bowl. This is the closest we're ever going to hit a Super Bowl. As a Lions fan, I can proudly say that. So I'm rooting for Stafford, but you know something, man, I do like Joe Burrow. I think he's got a lot of personality. I love his interviews after the games. They're all really entertaining. So I'm honestly rooting for like good football over anything, but I do want to see Matthew Stafford win a Super Bowl.
Okay, so you were more towards me of last year. Peter, we all remember how that turned out for you, right?
Hey, we don't talk about that.
But that's interesting to hear because if you're a Lions fan, clearly the winning hasn't been there throughout the franchise's history. Matt Stafford, he produced in Detroit. Now, it didn't really translate in terms of a win-loss record, but he was somebody that the Lions could depend on for nearly a decade. So it's great to see him finally get an opportunity to win a Super Bowl.
If he wins the Super Bowl, is he going to make Hall of Fame?
Oh, good question, Peter. I say yes.
Yeah,
100%.
I think so.
I'd say yes too.
Yep, I agree 100%. Matt Stafford, when you look at his body of work, when you look overall at his stats, if you take away the win-loss record, Stafford, he lines up with a number of future Hall of Famers of this generation. Now, again, I'm not saying you should disqualify the win-loss record, but I think a lot of it could be based upon his circumstances around him. Detroit did not really surround him with the necessary talent. Didn't really surround him on both sides of the ball, whether it was an offensive line, help at receivers. I understand he had Calvin Johnson, but post Calvin Johnson era, it was not successful at all in Detroit. The defense, he had a bottom third defense for, if I were to guess, about 70% of his time in Detroit. So he finally gets an opportunity with a legitimate head coach, a legitimate assets in terms of weapons, a good offensive line, solid run game, and a top 10 defense. So if Matthew Stafford is to win a Super Bowl, this is the year. And Peter, I've talked about it on our show for a number of months. The Rams were my Super Bowl pick in the preseason. And I backed them countlessly, even though in the middle of the year, they were shaky. And then trade deadline, they turned around, acquired Odell Beckham, acquired Von Miller, and they put all their chips in the middle of the table, and they can't lose this game to Joe Burrow and the Bengals. I still think it's a Super Bowl or bust season for the Rams. Now, getting there, don't get me wrong, going through Tom Brady, the 49ers, Kyler Murray, it's not easy. But the point is, you should not lose to Joe Burrow and Zach Taylor. You shouldn't. This is Super Bowl or bust for the Los Angeles Rams.
I mean, I agree. I mean, I think this season is a success overall, even though you don't think so. It's Super Bowl. Zach Taylor versus Sean McVay. McVay's old quarterbacks coach, right?
Yeah, Zach Taylor came from the Sean McVay tree. So, yeah, it was his quarterback's coach. But I don't know. The Rams have just given up so many assets, so many draft picks, just to be in the position they're in now. And something I want to bring up, I was talking to Carr about last week. Peter and Noah, I don't know if you've seen these rumors. Again, I don't even know if they're necessarily concrete or not, but Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk was talking a couple weeks ago, and he was saying that he doesn't believe that Sean McVay is going to be a coach long-term in the National Football League, that his time in Los Angeles could be running out. He's one of those guys that could be looking to go into broadcasting. A network like ESPN could pay him upwards to $20 to $25 million. And he might just say, screw it. I'm going to take 5-6 years off and I'm going to go into broadcasting. He's not one of those lifers per se, like Bill Belichick, Andy Reid. He's more, he wants to recharge and it would take a couple years. So let's just say, for the sake of the argument, that Sean McVay walks at the end of his contract at the end of 2023, which is the end of next season. This is do or die for the Rams, because without Sean McVay, everything the Rams have done over the last 3 or 4 years can be undone very quickly. Let me remind everybody, when Sean McVay took over for the Rams, before McVay was there, they had 10 consecutive losing seasons. He turned that program around on a dime. And again, he's at a winning record every step of the way. And if he were to leave, surprisingly, at the end of next season, then I think this Rams team is screwed. So I think that's just another layer of it.
I don't like the Jeff Fisher slander. I love Jeff Fisher. Okay.
Sorry, Peter.
And number 2, if Sean McVay wins the Super Bowl, I think he's the second best coach in the National Football League. And there's an argument.
He is.
I don't know. And there's an argument it might be number 1.
I think McVay's 2. He's my 2. I think McVay's awesome. Look what he's done since he's taken over that program. I know you just said no Jeff Fisher slander here, but
no Jeff Fisher slander. 7-9 all day. Okay.
Look, Jared Goff. Shout out Noah right here, Lions. I think it's fair to say Jared Goff is a bottom 3rd quarterback in the league. And Matthew Stafford, who we all think is talented and all, has come from an organization where they didn't have success. And he's had a lot of success with both of them. Jared Goff, he took Jared Goff to a Super Bowl. Like, it's just even crazy to even think about. Because I think Jared Goff is planets away from getting back to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, if the Rams lose Sean McVay, that just kills a lot of everything. Because I mean, you talked about it. Think of how bad I'm gonna be slandering Jeff Fisher. Think how bad that offense was when he was the head coach of that team. Think of how bad Todd Gurley was and how he was literally getting underused before he got injured.
Carr, you don't like Sam Bradford? You don't like that?
No, I don't like Sam Bradford. So, and then if you think about Jared Goff's rookie season, he looked like a complete bust. Now, I'm not saying he's a great NFL quarterback, but he looks like totally bad. Like, he can't play in the league at all. And Sean McVay obviously comes from that Mike Shanahan coaching tree, came in and really changed the culture there. So the Rams, they put everything on the table. They don't have a 1st-round pick until 2024. So there's no young stud that's going to be coming in to this this team for a long time now. And they put everything on the table. They got to win it. And it has to be this year. If not this year, you only got next year. And then who knows? If you don't win a Super Bowl, talk about a colossal failure. This is on epic proportions of how bad this would be if they were to collapse and not win a Super Bowl.
And look, I like Joe Burrow a lot, and I think we all do, but I think it's fair to say nobody here, except for maybe Peter, thought the Bengals would get to this stage.
No, I didn't think they were going to beat the Chiefs.
Fair enough. But I think we all probably went in and said if Bengals, they win a playoff game, that'd probably be their ceiling. I picked Tennessee to beat Cincinnati. I thought that's where they would fall. I actually picked the
Yep.
Raiders to beat Cincinnati. So I've been against Cincinnati the whole way. And it feels like, look, the Rams have so much playoff experience, so much Super Bowl experience, whether it's guys like Von Miller, Aaron Donald, all guys have been there. Sean McVay's coached in the Super Bowl. Cooper Kupp's been in a Super Bowl. Andrew Whitworth, all these guys have been in a Super Bowl before. The Bengals, I think they have like 6 players on their roster over the age of 30. These guys are so young. Joe Burrow is only in his second season. This is his first year in which he actually played every game. Obviously, last year, coming off that torn ACL. And Jmarr Chase is a rookie. Zach Taylor, I mean, look, he's a third-year head coach. This is his first time in the playoffs. The defense is young. The coordinators are young. Cincinnati is so raw, and they're in so much above their head. And again, not taking anything away from Joe Burrow, because I like the kid a lot. He showed balls, grit, everything you want to see. But you're the Rams. You're playing in your home stadium. You have I'm not saying the home crowd advantage, but you have every advantage to win this game from experience. You don't have to travel. It's just everything. You're more talented. You have the better coaches. Every box, I think, in my opinion, checks the Rams.
Yep. I mean, they do. And I think a big part of what this game is going to be is this Bengals offensive line. Now, they've gotten to this point with having this bad offensive line. Hell, they beat the Titans and Joe Burrow got sacked 9 times. So they can do it. But when you're versing Aaron Donald, who I think many still regard as the best player in the NFL, easily probably the best defensive player in the league, Von Miller, who's starting to finally show up, Leonard Floyd's no scrub either. He's actually pretty good. If he's like your second or third pass rusher on your team, these guys can get after the quarterback. And the Cincinnati Bengals have a terrible offensive line. The interior of their offensive line especially is horrific. Where does Aaron Donald line up? In the interior, as you know, the 3 technique, the 4 technique. This guy is going to come after Joe Burrow, and even the double team, it's hard to stop Aaron Donald even when you're double teaming him. So I worry for Joe Burrow's safety in this game. And I know, like, up to this point, like, it hasn't really mattered because they've gotten to this point, even with having a bad offensive line. But Aaron Donald is no scrub.
I mean, yeah, it's true. I mean, as you said, it's going to be a hard time blocking all those people. But, I mean, the only way the Bengals can beat this Rams team if Joe Burrow puts it on his back again for the 3rd straight week. I think other than the kicker, because it doesn't matter. Everyone McPherson's better than Matt Gay. But other than the kicker, I think Joe Burrow is better than Matthew Stafford, and that's the only way they can beat the Rams. At every other side of the ball, I think the Rams way outshine the Bengals.
So let's
put on receivers.
Yeah, let's pivot towards the Bengals because we've talked about the Rams for a while now.
Sure.
So when you look at the Bengals, I think a key to their success in this playoff run is creating turnovers. I think they've had 7 turnovers throughout this playoff run. They forced Mahomes in interceptions. They forced Tannehill into some bad interceptions. I think they picked him off 3 times. I think they had 2 turnovers against the Raiders. So, like, they've been forcing turnovers, and it feels like that has been the key to them is shortening the field, winning the field position battle, winning time of possession, and I think that's been important. Now, when you look at the Rams, I think Sean McVay, who is, again, second best coach in the league, I would say, I think he understands that he can't turn the ball over if he's going to win. He needs Stafford to not turn the ball over. He needs Cam Akers to hold on to the football and not give the Bengals any opportunities, because once the Bengals are in rhythm and they create turnovers, I think they really get going, especially if Joe Burrow can get play action going, if Joe Mixon can get going. That's important. Now, what do you guys make of the matchup that could end up happening between Jalen Ramsey and Jmarr Chase? If you are, let's say you're the Rams here, would you go that route of covering Jmarr Chase like that? Or would you double Jmarr Chase and then single coverage a guy like T. Higgins or Boyd? What would you do?
I wouldn't do that because I think T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd can get the job done. If you leave those 2 guys one-on-one, especially T. Higgins, he's very underrated. I think he's one of the more underrated receivers in the NFL. I think he has the alpha capability as well. I wouldn't do that. I would put Jalen Ramsey on Jmarr Chase. I mean, that's your best weapon. That's your most explosive weapon on the outside. And he's the guy that's going to create the big plays for you. you got to let Jalen Ramsey handle him. And you just got to hope that these other guys, get the job done against T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. I would absolutely have it be Ramsey Chase on an island, I think.
I think that's what they're going to do. I think that's a fair way to go about things. But again, those Bengals receivers, they've been awesome. Noah, were you a Jmarr Chase guy coming out of college?
I did like him coming out of college. Yeah, I wasn't that familiar with him apart from his year with Joe Burrow, but I definitely did favor him as my favorite wide receiver coming out of the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when you look at that whole wide receiver room for the Bengals, right? Carr was just talking about he likes T. Higgins, Boyd. Like, they have solid playmakers along with the tight end position. They have backs that can catch the ball. They have an array of weapons. Now, if Jmarr Chase, let's say, is taken out, let's say Jalen Ramsey does a good job of taking him out. Who do you think Cincinnati goes to when they need it? If Jmarr Chase is covered and they really can't go to him, what would you guys suggest? You say T. Higgins?
T. Higgins. Because T. Higgins has come up big in big spots too, like on third downs. He's a bigger target. I off the top of my head, I think the Rams' second corner is Darius Williams. I don't think he has the size to compare to T. Higgins, who's like 6'4". I think that's going to be someone that Burrow is going to rely upon in this game, with Ramsey seeing a lot of Jmarr Chase, I think. And I think T. Higgins can get the job done. I mean, he's had some great games this season, and he's just a guy that has a large catch radius, like kind of like a security blanket. You can run him across the middle on the outside. He's going to be someone I think that's going to be in for a big game.
And Noah, you a T. Higgins guy?
Big time. Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people sleep on him a lot of times. I'm not really sure why, because just going through his stats, like he's had one game this year where he had 194 yards, another one where he had 138 yards, 2 games where he had 114 yards. So this is a guy that can get the job done and potentially be a number 1 wide receiver somewhere in the future, potentially. So just putting it out there, I do think that if they end up doubling Jmarr Chase, I do think T. Higgins can get the job done for sure.
Are you would know? He was drafted 2 years ago?
Yes, he was in the same draft as Burrow, and he was drafted the first pick in the second round.
Yeah, I thought he was supposed to be a first round pick. He kind of slid down a little bit. I liked T. Higgins in college, and I felt like at the time Cincinnati was kind of in a weird phase, how AJ Green was getting up there in age, and they were kind of looking for that next guy at receiver. And I thought it was T. Higgins, but obviously Jmarr Chase has proved to be legit. He's already a top 5, top 10 receiver in the game. Peter, your guy Joe Mixon. I know you got a lot. All right, so Carl, let me explain to you this story. So we have a fantasy league back home, and Peter selected Joe Mixon, right? And Carr, you're a Joe Mixon guy too.
I like him. Yep.
Yeah, Peter's a Joe Mixon guy, and he drafted him in fantasy, and the whole room laughed at Peter. The whole room wasn't a fan of the Joe Mixon selection. Like, they were laughing at him hard. Like Justin and Bo Sox, they were laughing at him. Like, I'm pretty sure like TJ was laughing at him. Like, he was getting clowned. And I think my brother's name for his fantasy team was Peter drafted Joe Mixon. I think like it was a big joke about Joe Mixon. So here we are, 6-7 months removed from that. And Joe Mixon is in the Super Bowl, and he's got an opportunity to put his name really in the center stage. And Peter can go peacock to everybody next year's fantasy draft if Joe Mixon really puts it up. So Peter, talk me up about Joe Mixon.
Well, listen, the only reason why I drafted Joe Mixon, he has nobody behind him. He was getting all the carries. He was supposedly getting all the receptions. I know P. Ryan put in that a little bit. The only caveat of Joe Mixon ever is just him not staying healthy, and he did the whole year. I mean, knock on wood, in a Super Bowl. With all that being said, though, when it comes to next year, I will not be drafting Joe Mixon, because I think next year he's a free agent, isn't he?
No, we got a contract extension.
Yeah,
he got a contract. Oh, maybe I'll draft him again. No, but I don't know. I mean, I've loved Joe Mixon ever since he was in college.
No, you were in the room when Peter got tomatoes thrown at him. What was your reaction?
Noah probably said something too.
I mean, yeah, I think I did turn to Jason. I think I was like, man, he did draft Joe Mixon. Like your brother's kind of being a douche, but at the same time, like, he did draft Joe Mixon. But the funniest thing is PJ he snapped back like 3-4 days later. We had another draft, and PJ and your brother are in that draft as well. And PJ drafts Joe Mixon again, just to really stick it to him. Yeah. Hey, it worked out for him though. Joe Mixon had a great year.
Yeah, it's just funny now, because now just knowing how things go in life. Joe Mixon's going to win MVP. First touchdown, Joe Mixon's going to be this and that, and Peter's going to be sitting there next August and be like, well, I told you guys.
Told you so.
Like, I can just see that. But the Joe Mixon selection, like, Carr, like, of course, you've been to fantasy drafts. Like, it was just so fun. Like, I'm not making fun of you, Peter, but it was just so funny when you put the name on the board. Like, Justin started it and then everyone was laughing. And I'm like, oh my God, poor Peter. Like, he's getting tomatoes thrown at him as he's walking back to his seat. Like, it was just one of those things where it was just Peter stuck by his gut, and Joe Mixon had a good year, and he's been a big reason why the Bengals have had success. Now, I still think Joe Burrow has been a bigger part of that Bengals offense, but to see what Mixon has been able to do when healthy, he's been huge for that offense. Despite having an offensive line that I think we'd all agree is subpar at best.
Really bad.
Yeah, exactly. So if Mixon can kind of get his footing and average 4 or 5 yards a carry, I think that'll be huge, especially against that Rams front seven that is a top 5 unit in the NFL. So I like Mixon in this game, but I like him more out of the backfield than more in between the tackles.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be giving him some screen opportunities along that. I don't see him getting the ball 20, 25 times.
Well, that's why they have Pirine. I like Pirine as a secondary option.
I don't love Joe Mixon in this game just because the Rams, I think, have done a really good job against running backs. They were able to stifle the 49ers last week. Leonard Fournette had like 53 rushing yards, and then they stifled the Cardinals run game too. So they've kind of been locking up and stopping running back. So we'll get into prop bets, but I don't think Joe Mixon's going to have a great rushing out. And I agree where I think out of the backfield, just because of the pressure that Joe Burrow is going to have, I think they're going to call a lot of screen plays and a lot of plays to just kind of get the ball out of his hands and, get it into his playmakers' hands. So I don't love the rushing, I think, in this game for Joe Mixon, but I do like the receiving upside for him or Pirine.
Peter, do you have Joe Mixon's rushing yards in front of you?
Don't.
I have it.
Carr has it. Okay. What is it, Carr?
It is 62.5.
62.5. That seems
high, but that doesn't seem that high.
Yeah, I don't
If
know.
that makes any
That's a
sense at
tough number. That's a tough number.
I go under.
You go, yeah. Ugh,
The Bengals win, that's going over.
that's a tough number. I'm gonna lean under. That's a tough number. No, what do you think? Mixon over under 62 rushing yards?
I wouldn't even touch that bet, to be honest with you. I would probably say over if I had to pick one. But
What about attempts? What about rushing attempts? What is that listed as, Carr?
Let me get that to you. He has 16.5.
Again, if the Bengals win, that's over.
Mixon's a tough guy to really pin down. How about receiving? How about receptions? I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Receptions for Joe Mixon is 3.5.
I like the over on that. I think they're gonna run some
I
screens
like
with
the
him
over
and stuff.
on Samaje Perine.
What is that? $1.50? $2?
Yep. Yeah, $1.50.
Yeah, like Peter was saying, he's a decent back. He can, works well in the screen game, and he gives Mixon. It depends how they want to utilize some things. And you know what might be the case?
What's up?
Zach Taylor might look at the game plan and say, you know what, guys, why don't we not just hit our head against the wall? We're just not going to do that. We're not abandon the run, but we're going past 75% of the time here. We're going to go shotgun, 5 wide. Our runs are going to be end arounds to Jmarr Chase.
Yep.
Mixing some screens, stuff like that. I could see them doing that, kind of like how the Cowboys in week 1 did against the Bucs. So they didn't want any part of that Bucs front seven. Not saying the Rams front seven is as dominant as that was last year, but that could be a strategy in which they would look to deploy. But when you're in a Super Bowl, especially in the first half, nerves are going. Young team, sometimes running the football calms nerves because it's a low risk kind of play. But Mixon's a very difficult guy to figure out.
Yeah, especially in this game, it's a tough one. It is. I just don't. I think the rushing number is going to be down. 16.5 attempts. I feel like it might be like 17 or 18 he gets, but I just don't think he's going to do much with it just because the Rams have been so good at stopping the run, and the Bengals offensive line is just not good. So
if you want that over hit, you gotta hope that the Bengals defense doesn't show up like they showed up 2 weeks ago versus the Chiefs. And
Yeah.
got down 21-0 early, and
Yeah.
they can't run the ball.
Does Jmarr Chase have a rushing attempts line?
No, he doesn't.
He has a over/under of half a rushing attempt.
Oh,
Oh,
that's what
does
I'm
he?
talking
I
about.
didn't see that.
A
Yeah.
half? That's
Yeah.
going over. I think they're going to give him some end arounds and jet sweeps. Didn't they toss it to him out of the backfield
Yep.
against
Yep.
KC, right?
Uh,
I
that
think it
was. It might have been against the Raiders.
Might have been against the Raiders.
Yeah.
It happened. It did happen once. It definitely did happen.
Yes.
Now I think the Bengals, they're going to have to get creative because running in the A gap rated Aaron Donald, it might not work. Clearly. I mean, the teams have tried and failed. And I think the 49ers, I think in the second half, they kind of got worn down by it in the NFC Championship game anyway. So anyone have
Jmarr
any
Chase's over/under rushing yards is 3.5.
3.5?
I might take that, man.
Oh, Peter, I'm taking that, boy.
I think
Yes,
they.
sirree.
I'd say they run 2 end arounds.
And you know what? He
They
might
don't
get
do that
blown-
with Boyd or Higgins.
No, Higgins is like Chase is quick.
Chase
Higgins
is
I know
good
Chase
after.
is, I know
Chase
Chase
is good in the.
is-
Chase is good with the ball in his hands. He's a good
Yeah,
after the
he's
catch
explosive.
receiver. Higgins isn't so much that.
He's kind of too big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's kind of, I don't want to say
Yeah.
clumsy, but he's kind of too.
He's not dynamic with the ball in his hands like Chase is.
You're in a situation where it's 3rd and 3, and Joe Mixon's lost 3 yards in his last 6 carries, and you got to run the ball here. I mean, I don't think that's a bad idea because then it
No.
changes how the Rams play defense a little bit. Because then you're gonna force Jalen Ramsey on somebody else. You're gonna have to move a lot of different parts in the Rams defense.
Yeah.
So I think that's an interesting one to really tackle. So before we get into our prop pick selections, does anyone else have any takes on the game?
I mean, I don't even think we talked about Cooper Cupp yet.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Quick minute or two
Um,
on Cooper Cupp. Cooper Cupp is somebody that I'm going to talk about a lot in my prop bet selection, but he put together one of the best receiving seasons receiver has ever put up. Fantastic. I like Cooper Cupp a lot.
He's just. I mean, the fact of the matter is, like, I know this has been kind of a big topic of debate of where he ranks in terms of receivers in the NFL. I mean, I think there's still some receivers better than him, but he's the best slot receiver in the league. And
Yeah.
when you put up 1,900 yards,
Who do you take over him? Just Tyreek Hill and Adams? That's it?
Tyreek Hill, Adams, might be a hot take. I take Justin Jefferson.
Ooh, that's a
Oh,
little.
that's a
high
good
for me.
one. That's a good one, actually. Good
Um,
about. Good about.
when he's healthy, maybe even DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah. I just think what Cupp was able. Let's see what Cupp does next season.
We'll
Because
see.
if Cupp can sustain what he did this season, then I think he's
I think Stafford
right
has a
there.
lot. to
If we're
do with
talking
that,
about
though.
this season, he was the best receiver in the league.
absolutely.
This
He
season,
was not even close. Yeah.
yeah. But if we're talking about overall, I mean, he should be in the top 10, but he can creep in the top 5.
Stafford's blessed. He had Calvin Johnson for whatever it is, 8 years or whatever it is, and then he had Cooper Cupp. And then he's gonna have it next year, and
Yep.
probably forever.
It's crazy when you look at Cooper Cupp, right? Because obviously the slot receiver is something that Sean McVay really utilizes in his offense. And it felt like defenses this year haven't been able to adjust to him. It seems like I think he only caught less than 5 receptions in one game this season, which is like crazy to even fathom. He's fantastic. He's somebody that I don't even know how the Cincinnati Bengals are going to defend. I truthfully am not sure.
Yeah.
I think the Bengals secondary is a little fraudulent. Like I know they played well in spurts against Tyreek Hill. I know Travis Kelce. I think he had 10 catches in the AFC title game, but I don't know how they're going to defend Cooper Cupp. I really don't, because it feels like that's bread and butter, and that's nearly indefensible.
I mean, he hasn't been defended at all. Really, the team that he's been the worst against has been the Cardinals, and like even then, you'd still
That game
have,
was a blowout.
it was a blowout. It was like 5 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown. Like that's still respectable, but like 11 catches, 142 yards, and 2 touchdowns against the 49ers, and it was like 180 yards against the Buccaneers. It's like the Bengals aren't going to have an answer for him, and nobody has had an answer for him this season. I suspect that's going to continue.
And when you look at who the Bengals have played this year, you just look through their schedule. They played Hunter Renfrow twice. I feel like he can be a comp in terms of a slot receiver to Cooper Cupp. In the wild card game, he played pretty well. So other than that, if you look through the Bengals schedule, difficult slot receivers, I mean, It seems like they have not played many slot receivers. Now,
Nah,
there's
Keenan
guys that
Allen.
play in the slot. Yeah, that was my next one I was going to mention. Keenan Allen. I think he had 5 catches for 110 yards off the top of my head. They played the Chargers. The Chargers blew them out, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. It was like 42-13 or something.
Yeah, it's 42 to 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, they blew him out, but that was a Mike Williams game. That wasn't really a Keenan Allen game.
Keenan Allen had 5 receptions with 34 yards and 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns. That's what it was. Okay. But I think Mike Williams had a great game. I think he had over 110 yards receiving or something.
Yeah.
He had 110 right on the nose.
Boom, Peter. Boom. So when you look at that, if you look through the schedule, that's about it. You look at the Chargers receiving core with Keenan Allen. You look at Hunter Renfrow twice. They haven't faced anybody like Cooper Kupp. Now, there's not many slot receivers that can do what Cooper Kupp does, but it's just difficult. It's just difficult to game plan for. That's all I'm saying. Because it's not like he's gonna get 28. He's not gonna average 28 yards a play, but he's gonna average 7-8 right down your throat. Third downs, boom. Difficult to defend, man. Really is.
It is, and I think most of his production last week came from third downs. He's just such a weapon, and he makes plays when you need a play it all the time, and it's just hard to defend him.
Yep. All right. Without further ado, we will each, so the 4 of us will select 2 prop bets that we really like for Sunday's game. Talk about that. Then after that, we will reveal our game predictions.
Okay.
So Peter, would you like to start off with your first prop bet?
Sure, I'll do a prop bet. So I have here, we'll make it fun prop bets. So on the graphic, I'm gonna have Joe Burrow over 11.5 rushing yards, but I'm sure somebody will talk about that. So to piggyback off of Cooper Kupp, I'm gonna say Cooper Kupp has over receptions over the U.S. gold medals at the Olympics. If anybody is watching the Olympics, I'm a big Olympics guy. U.S. 4 days now have been choking it away. They have not won a gold medal. They're in 17th place. They've only had 3 silver and 1 bronze. They will
Peter,
clean up.
What's your favorite Winter Olympic event?
Bobsledding.
Okay, just wondering. Go ahead.
They'll clean up on the ice skating and they'll clean up on the snowboarding. They haven't done that, but they're not going to do as well as everybody thought in the hockey. The women's hockey team already got destroyed. One of their players already got hurt. So I think that they're only going to get like 5 gold medals max. So I think that's an easy bet.
So Peter, avid Winter Olympic fan, he's got you covered with that one. So Peter, do you want would you like to give your other one now, or should everybody give
matter.
one?
Yeah, we could all do one.
Okay, I'll do one and we'll go back around. So Carr.
So I kind of hinted at this earlier, but Samaje Perine, 1.5 receptions. I like that as an over. It's plus 105. We were talking about it earlier. Like Joe Burrow, I think is going to be pressured in this game, and there's just going to be more plays that they're going to have to draw up to get the ball out of his hands. Samaje Perine eats into Joe Mixon's, third down work and his passing down work. And Samaje Perine, I think last week had 3 catches and like 60 yards and a touchdown. So maybe that kind of incentivizes Zach Taylor to kind of use him more in this game. He only needs 2 catches to hit that. I think he can absolutely hit that. And I like that one a lot.
Okay. Noah?
So for mine, this is actually shout out my boy Matthew Stafford. I'm saying that he's going to have an interception. The over-under for interceptions is 0.5, I believe, for him.
Yeah.
And he's thrown some ugly interceptions this year. I believe he had 5 pick sixes throughout the year. So he's up there in interceptions. I think the Bengals secondary is good enough where they'll at least be able to force one. So that's my first one.
I like all 3 of those.
That's the only caveat on the Rams. If the Rams lose this game, it's going to be because of Matthew Stafford. I think they don't trust as much as everybody thinks they do of Matthew Stafford. And as Noah said, he threw some ugly interceptions, especially in the middle and the end of the year.
Absolutely. That's Peter, again, I'm not an avid Winter Olympic fan as you are, so I'm tough to comment on that one, but Carr and Noah, I think they're spot on. I love that. That's a great one.
I think you have to wait until like 3 weeks until the Olympics are done to catch that ticket in.
Yeah, you're gonna have to let me know how that goes.
Yeah.
But for my first one, Peter kind of talked about it, so I'm gonna piggyback off of it. Joe Burrow over 2.5 rushing attempts. So this is why I like this. I think Burrow is going to be running for his life in this game. I think he's going to probably have to scramble out numerous times. We saw him do it a couple times against Kansas City, run for a big first down. And I think we're going to have to see him do it again against the Rams because the pocket's going to collapse. He's going to have to move around. He's going to have to create yards with his feet, especially if a guy like Jmarr Chase is taken out of this game by Jalen Ramsey. He's going to have to get creative, and he's going to have to fight for first downs, fight for yardage. So I like over 2.5 rushing attempts for Joe Burrow. Peter, what is your second prop?
I have over touchdowns and rounds in the Adesanya Whitaker fight in the UFC on Saturday. Listen, nobody's going to talk about this. So in 2019, they faced Whitaker and Adesanya and only went 2 rounds. I think that Adesanya is going to win in up to 3 rounds, and I think that there's going to be more touchdowns than 3. So it is what it is.
Again,
Just hope it's not a
tough
field
for me
goal
to
game.
comment. Tough for me to comment on that one, but I like
Adesanya's lost 1 time. So nobody's going to talk about UFC on its Super Bowl show. So good.
Fair point. Carr.
Give me Odell Beckham over 5.5 receptions.
Okay.
I think, look, what we've seen from Odell, this kind of resurgence from him. I think he had 9 catches for like 113 yards last game. So he's getting the job done. I think for this Rams passing attack, it's Cooper Cupp and it's Odell Beckham. Like Van Jefferson's kind of disappeared. Like he's only had like 2 catches and like 1 catch in these playoffs. Like I think last week he had 2 catches, and the week before that he had like a catch. So I think Odell at 5.5, I like it. It's plus 115. I think he'd get about 6 or 7 catches. Personally, I think the Rams are going to throw the ball. I think both teams are going to throw the ball a lot more than they are going to run the ball. So I think that just means Odell, and Cooper Cupp, these guys are going to, get fed the ball.
Noah?
So for me, I really like the Van Jefferson over 29.5 receiving yards. I really like that one a lot, just because I think the Bengals are going to make a huge effort to stop Cooper Cupp. I'm not sure if that's going to be successful. And I don't know. I just feel like Van Jefferson, he's a deep threat. And if he just connects on one pass, I think he could cover it with that one. So that's where my money's going.
You think he go one catch for 32 yards or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's very possible.
I think against the it might have been against the Bucks. He had 1 catch for 41 yards.
Yeah, and against the Bucks, they actually tried to throw him a goal line fade. I think at least once, maybe twice. It didn't convert, but so they have made an effort to get Van Jefferson the ball, and I could see the Bengals saying, you know what, we're probably not going to be able to get Cooper Cupp out of this game, but let's take Odell out. Let's just get his ass out of there, and Cooper Kupp's going to do what he does, and let's see if they can beat us with Van Jefferson. And if Van Jefferson can win that matchup, that's big. Were you a Van Jefferson guy out of college, Carr? I really wasn't.
No, he was kind of an older prospect.
He's not like a Sean McVay type of receiver. Like that's why when that draft pick was made, I was like, really? Like, I don't know. I didn't really see the fit there.
Yeah, the Rams have had some like questionable like 2nd round wide receiver picks. They took Tutu Atwell this year. I don't know.
It just I remember because like they have a type of receiver they like. I think they like guys that are explosive, right? Quick, explosive. That seems to be the mold. I don't know. Just Van Jefferson, it feels like maybe he just hasn't put it all together yet. Maybe it's just about usage. Now he's had a hell of a guys in front of him. Robert Woods before he got hurt, Odell, Cooper Kupp, and that could be some of it. Higbee obviously gets some targets, and so who knows what Van Jefferson's going to be, but maybe he's finally going to make his name in bright lights on Sunday. My second prop pick is going to be, I am going to take Cooper Kupp over 8.5 catches. We talked about Cooper Kupp for the last couple of minutes, and he's just tough to stop. I can see him catching 10 or 11 balls in this game easily because I don't think the Bengals have an answer for him. I really don't. He's going to be targeted at least 13, 14 different times. I just think Cooper Kupp's impossible to stop. This has been his season. He's been the best version of himself. He's been the best skill position player in all of football. And I think that's going to be on full display Sunday night.
Cooper Kupp's your Scotty Miller last year, huh?
He is. He absolutely is. Yes. Oh, did that end up hitting Peter? I don't remember.
I don't remember, but you're all in on like everything. Like
yeah,
yards,
you're right.
Like receptions, target.
I was Scotty Miller did not have a good year. No, he was hurt with a hamstring injury. He missed a lot of the year, but I I think he got like 1 catch or something this year. 2 catch. Like it was not a Scotty Miller year. Now, if Godwin ends up walking to free agency, I don't mean to get in a tangent. Maybe he'll finally get some usage, but feels like he got lapped.
But I remember you did a lot of props the last year with Scotty Miller.
Well, now it's Cooper. I mean,
Yeah.
Actually, all my props will not necessarily be around Cooper Cup this year.
No, well, yeah, I'm just saying.
But I remember because Scotty Miller, because no one was really giving him much of a chance to do anything. Now, if you give me a guy like that, my guy's Van Jefferson with that. I think no one nailed that one. Because what's Van Jefferson for catches? $1.50?
He is
half.
What is it?
2.5.
2.5. That's a little high. Ugh. Really? What about that's kind of annoying.
Yeah, here's the thing. I wouldn't go with the receptions. I just think that there might be a deep ball, like 50 yards, 40 yards, and he's gonna catch it. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah, because he's 29.5 on receiving yards.
Yep. But yeah, last year, Peter can attest. I was all in on Gronk, Scotty Miller. Those are my guys last year. And Gronk definitely was the staple of that offense right there. That was huge. All right, Peter. So
wait, before we divert on props, is anybody good at geography or the LA area? Why is there a prop of will there be an octopus on the field? Minus 1,400, no, and plus 2,500, yes. Does anybody know? What?
An octopus?
Yeah.
I can't explain that one.
I got nothing for you there.
It's not like the thing in Buffalo, but like, I don't know. I thought somebody like knew.
Peter, where are you getting these props, bro? Where are you reading these?
Hey, listen, you worry about your props, and I worry about mine, okay?
Yeah, no, why do you worry about Van Jefferson making that 1 catch, bro?
Yeah. All right, never mind. I'm sorry.
All right, so that was awesome, Peter. The squid right there. I hope someone throws a squid on the field. And you know what?
I'm telling you, I'm gonna bet yes, and I'm gonna be like, oh my god.
Whenever I see that, everyone better text Peter. Just a squid emoji. I think that just everyone text. Everyone that listens, you're watching the Super Bowl, you see a squid in the field, you text Peter a squid emoji. That'll be the real determination about how many listens we got in the pod.
There we go.
All right, so before we get into game picks, let's do who scores the first touchdown, because that's always an exciting one. That's one that me and Peter kind of always gravitated to the last couple of years. Me and Peter nailed it a couple of years ago. We had Sony Michel, first touchdown for the Patriots ran Super Bowl in 2019. We nailed that one, but I think we're over since. Oh, we got Gronk last year. You're right. So we're hot. You're right. So we are hot with that one. So Peter, I'll let you start since your blood's boiling with octopus and everything else over here.
See, I was gonna say my Joe Mixon story, so I'm gonna be all in on Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon plus 750. I think they're just gonna run it in the goal line first and whatever. But I really love the piggyback off that. I love the jersey number over 23.5 for the first touchdown. No, the only way that loses is if the Rams wide receivers or Jmarr Chase gets a first touchdown.
Or Stafford.
Yeah, or Burrow. But yeah, but like all the Bengals receivers other than Jmarr Chase have over 23.5, and then you're covered on the running backs for both sides. So
first touchdown, your guys Mixon.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Carr?
You know, I got an obscure one for you. How about Tyler Higbee?
Do it.
Tyler Higbee plus 1,400. Last week the Bengals gave up, 10 catches, 90 something yards to Travis Kelce. I don't think they gave up a catch to a Titans tight end, but then they gave up like 7 or 8 catches to Darren Waller in the wild card round.
Now, are you worried that McVay on Monday said Higbee is not going to even start practicing until Thursday at the earliest?
Not really. I mean, when he plays, he's going to be the starter. So I don't think they're going to put in what's the guy's name? Kendall Blanton as the starter.
Hey, he's the real sleeper right there.
Yeah, plus 1,600. Yeah, I don't know. Tyler Higbee, I likes that one. I think I like Odell as well, and T Higgins is plus 1,200 too. So those would be like my 3, but I'll go with Tyler Higbee. Why not? I just have a gut feeling about it.
See, going into the week, I should say, I thought Higbee was going to be my guy, but I am worried about the injury. I'm worried about if he's just going to be a decoy out there. That scares me. But if he is healthy enough to play and actually perform, I like that a lot. Noah, how about you? Who scores first touchdown?
I'm gonna go CJ Uzomah. Is that how you say his name?
Uzomah.
CJ Uzomah.
Uzama. Yeah, I'm going him.
Are you worried that he might not play either?
No, he said that he's gonna play.
He said
he's not
he
missing.
did
Oh, he
say
said he
he
was
was
gonna play?
battling. Yeah,
Oh, no.
but I like that one too. So we're all.
Oh, you don't want to go Van Jefferson plus 1,800?
Oh no, I think you should.
Dude, I
ride
thought about it. I really thought about it, but I don't want to go all in on Van Jefferson. I want to spread my money out evenly.
In case
Fair point.
like Noah said, Van Jefferson's got the one catch, so you don't know where that catch is going to come. So could be for only it could be at the other side of the field. But I like the Uzama pick. Again, the only thing that I stop with Uzama is he healthy enough? I know he said he's going to play and he's going to be out there, but I'm just a little worried about if he's actually going to be utilized properly. I'm shocked nobody picked this guy, but I'm going to go with him. I think Carr talked about it. Odell Beckham plus 900. I'm going with it. I think Odell Beckham is going to be a guy that ends up with the first touchdown reception. This is how I kind of imagine it in my head. It's going to be a fade route to Odell. He's going to catch it. I'm going to high five Peter. And then Justin's going to FaceTime me and be like, whoa, you hate Odell, this and that. And I'm like, nah, Justin, Odell just won.
I thought you were gonna say something, Michelle.
You know what, Pete? I did think about that one, but the only thing that scares me about that one is the Sony Michel situation needs to be perfect. Like they need to be 3rd and goal at the half-yard line. And Cam Akers probably has to have a fumble early on in the game. So he kind of gets benched. So the Sony Michel, that's in the back of my mind as well. Van Jefferson is also in the back of my mind, but I'm going to go with Odell.
Does Matthew Stafford throw a pick six and it's plus 3,000 Bengals defense?
He's thrown, what Noah say, 5 pick sixes?
Yeah, 5 this year.
We'll just put down a small wager on that. Just for fun.
Yeah, especially if you think Stafford, and you know what, you could put two, you can't parlay this, but you throw Stafford plus a half interception and then you have the pick 6 in there, you could win that double.
Yep.
So Stafford he turns the ball over. Like that's part of it here. Any other props that anyone, Peter, you have any other weird octopus things or anything like that? Are you a coin flip guy? Are you a national anthem guy? Peter, give me the weirdest thing you got.
The weirdest thing? No,
Before we
I
get
can't
into
talk.
game
I
picks.
can't talk the octopus. I mean, listen, heads. Shout them at Slater.
What color is the Gatorade?
Never picked it.
Ooh, what color is the Gatorade?
See, look. All right. Here's something that Vegas knows too. Why is none plus 400? No
Yeah, what do you
Gatorade's
mean?
going to be splashed. What does Vegas? That's
What
the
are
third.
they splashing instead? Water?
Yeah, what,
Right,
Peter?
that's the-
Peter, what are the odds? You got them in front of you?
All right. Blue is plus 300. Purple is plus 200. Orange is plus 200. Yellow is plus 300. None is plus 400. And clear is plus 400.
I like blue, man.
How do you know the difference? So, what if it's water?
I don't know.
Like, what does that go? I mean,
None, right? Isn't it-
Water is none. But like, what does Vegas know that we don't? Like, why is none on there at all?
so Peter, are you saying none?
Yeah, right. I'm saying none. Like, is it just because like LA's like COVID like extreme and they don't want like them to share it? Like, I don't know. It's just I've never seen that before, like ever.
Okay, all right. I mean, I think it probably depends on who. You would think if the Bengals won, it's going to be orange, right? You would think, but again, I don't think those things are mutually exclusive because I remember the Patriots won a couple years ago, and it was orange,
Last year it was blue.
and it was the Bucks, and there's nowhere no blue near them. So it means I don't know.
And the
like-
national anthem, I am gonna pick the under. The overs hit 12 years in a row. It's gonna fade the other side eventually.
So this is the year, Peter. You hedging over here. This is it?
95 seconds, yeah.
Any other weird things you got? I'm enjoying the weird things.
No, I wish.
Is there
I
any
can.
halftime stuff?
What?
Is there any like halftime stuff like songs?
Oh, halftime. Yeah, there is. Who's gonna come out first? Oh no, who's coming out last? No, wait, no, who's coming out first? Mary, whatever her name is, plus 170, Kendrick Lamar plus 250, Snoop Dogg plus 350, Dr. Dre plus 500, Eminem plus 700.
Oh.
So Peter, do you stay away from those?
I think it's gonna be Kendrick Lamar playing
Okay,
humble.
so Peter does not stay away from those. That's awesome.
Wow, Peter.
Peter, if you could make up your own prop bet, what would it be?
Oh, that's a loaded question.
That is a loaded question. I know.
It would be, I don't know. Will there be a streaker on the field? Yes.
How many times does Sean McVay have to get pulled back to the sideline?
That's
How
a
many-
card.
how-
That's a
how
great one.
that's a good one.
Come on, Peter, think outside the box. That's good. How many times does
Actually, you want to hear a obscure one? There's gonna be an Al Michaels like prop, like him saying a word, and he's gonna like smash it in the first 5 minutes because he reads all the props.
How many times does Chris Collinsworth say, "Here's a guy"?
Here's a guy.
how many times does Tom Brady get mentioned in the broadcast?
Go on. Go on.
Is this
I'd
gonna be
probably set
Al
that at
Michaels'
2.
last game
You think this is Al Michaels' last game?
on
That's
NBC?
not
Yeah.
really a prop bet, though. It's not a prop bet.
Could be.
Isn't the rumor that he might go to Amazon?
Yeah, I think his contract status is unclear. He's been doing less games over the last couple of years. So I don't know. I hope this isn't it for Al Michaels, but no. Do you have any weird prop bets?
No, just a question. Is Tony Romo doing the game or
No,
or
it's
who's on
NBC.
podcast?
NBC.
NBC.
Al Michaels and
Oh,
Chris Collinsworth. Yeah.
Who will
Gotcha.
be shown first during the game? Leonardo DiCaprio plus 200, Ben Affleck plus 300, Matt Damon plus 325, Jennifer Lopez plus 350, Kim Kardashian plus 500.
DiCaprio.
Will there be an NFT shown during any
Oh my
commercial?
God.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll take the yes on that one.
Will Joe Burrow show smoking a cigar if he wins?
No.
No.
No, I don't think he'll do it on the field.
No. I don't think he'll do it on the field. No. You might see him at like the after party, whatever, doing it, but I don't know if that counts.
How many times will home field advantage be mentioned during the broadcast? Over. One and a
Over
half
what?
times.
Yeah. Okay.
I give it like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. All right, Peter, did you get that out of your system?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, any more?
No.
Nope. All right. So, okay. So we're going to get into game picks. We will give you our score. And so right off the top, I will read you the line for the game. So right now the Bengals are 4.5 point underdogs, and the total in terms of over under is set at 48.5. So Peter, actually, we're gonna change the order here. We're gonna start with Noah because Noah's been going last. So Noah, give me your score. Who wins and why?
I think Bengals win, just simply for the fact that I've bet against them 3 times now, and now they're in the Super Bowl. So I feel like I just can't. My ego is at stake here, and if I say that it's the Rams, and I go with Matt Stafford, and the Bengals win, it's like it's going to discredit me.
He's trying to
and
do
my
some reverse
podcast.
psychology
So-
on.
I see
He's
what-
trying to do reverse
I see what you-
psychology.
Exactly. I'm going to say it's 27-24 Bengals. So I'm going to say that's the over and Bengals cover.
Okay. All right. Carr.
We're doing Super Bowl MVPs after this, right?
Yes, we'll do that after we do this. Yes.
Okay. But so my score, I think it's going to be the Rams that win. I'm going to say 24-20. Look, we're talking about it. The Rams have a better roster. The Bengals offensive line scares me to death. And when you're going up against Aaron Donald, Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, this front seven for the Rams, I think they're just going to cause Joe Burrow to really falter. And if you look back at that Titans game where Burrow got sacked 9 times, that Titans offense wasn't doing anything. I put more faith in the Rams offense to put points up rather than that Titans offense. And like I said, Matthew Stafford, Cooper Cupp, that connection is not going to be stopped. Odell's going to get his in this game. I think the Bengals will keep it relatively close, but I have my money on the Rams. I really do think this is going to be it. And with putting all their chips at the middle of the table, with all these picks they've given up and all these moves they've made, it'll finally pay off. So Rams 24, Bengals 20, Rams win.
Bengals cover, Rams win.
Yep.
Peter.
I agree. Bengals cover, Rams win. Rams 31, Bengals 27. And I have the over. I just think that.
Why do you have
As
the
ev-
over?
Nope, not going there. No, not going there. I just think, just piggyback everybody. I think that Burrow's going to be running around for his life, and I just don't think that he can overcome the Rams' offense, defense, even special teams. I think it's the Rams here, and if the Rams do win, Jason, I'm going to ask for your ticket, and you're not going to pull one off. So.
Yeah. So the joke on this podcast, Carr and Noah, is I was a big Nikola Jokic guy last year in the NBA. I should have bet him for MVP, but I did not. So Peter was like, "Oh, where's your ticket?" Get it? Because I did not have a ticket because I didn't bet it. So before the season started, I said the Rams were going to win the Super Bowl. Here we are now. And if they win, Peter's going to be like, "Where's your ticket?" I don't have a ticket. I did not do it. But I'm going to stick with my guts here. I like the Rams. I like the Rams 27-16 over the Bengals. Look, I just think that Rams defense is dominant, man. I just think they're going to be able to limit what the Bengals do offensively. And I think the experience is really going to pay dividends. I think it's so important in a Super Bowl. I think the Bengals are going to come off to a real slow start. Wouldn't surprise me if we entered halftime with the Rams up 17-3 or something like that. I think that's big. The Rams aren't afraid. They know what to expect now. I like the Rams in this game. And I think they absolutely prove to everybody that all the spending and all the draft capital that they dealt was worth it. Because if, again, I talked about to start off the show, it would be a failure in my mind if they lose to Joe Burrow and Zach freaking Taylor. Sorry. Okay, so before
Well, that's a bad sign. Everybody picked the Rams, huh?
Oh,
no
pick
pick the Bengals.
Oh, no pick the Bengals.
So before we depart, we will give our Super Bowl MVP. So we'll go reverse order. Peter, you want to start with that one?
I have Aaron Donald plus 1,600. The last time that the offensive line was so bad and the defensive line was so good, what Super Bowl was that? Panthers Broncos. Who won that? Defensive player, Von Miller. I must pick Von Miller at plus 4,500, but it's either one of those, I think.
Okay, so you go different. So that's something that people are. I mean, look, if the Bengals offense is going to get disrupted as much as we all anticipate, I mean, I could absolutely foresee something like that happening.
It's weird though. If there's another prop that it's not going to be weird. The over under sacks for the Rams is plus 3. It's 3.5, and the under is hammered to minus 150. It's weird. Should
Interesting.
Be, yeah.
Carr.
Damn it, Peter! You stole my pick.
Oh, really? I'm sorry.
No. Yeah. I mean, Aaron Donald to me, I just feel like I keep talking about it. It's a perfect storm for him in this game. I really think that he can wreck this game. And I think the Super Bowl record is 4 sacks for a single player. I could be wrong. I think he'll come close to that. I think I can honestly see him having 3 sacks and a forced fumble and multiple pressures. I really think that he could be in for one of his best games of his career, because if Jeffrey Simmons was destroying this Bengals, offensive line in that Titans game, Aaron Donald is going to have his way. If I were to go give another one, Cooper Cupp plus 600, can't go wrong with that. He'll probably have double-digit receptions, 100 yards, and plus 600's, a good bet. But I'm going to go with Aaron Donald just because I feel like this is his game to really solidify himself as maybe the best player in the NFL.
Yep, because especially from look, Aaron Donald, he's somebody that he's not going to put up the necessarily sack numbers as pass rushers are because he plays the defensive tackle position, but you cannot forget how dominant that he is, because again, if he gets a Super Bowl MVP, he's right in there, considered the best defensive player of our generation. I think he's right in the conversation.
Yep.
Noah, what is your Super Bowl MVP?
I'm going Joe Burrow. Probably the most boring answer I'm giving here, but I don't know. I just got a feeling.
That's fair enough. I mean,
No, it's consistent. If you think the Bengals are going to win,
it's a good pick. Yeah,
it's a good pick.
Yeah, I like that a lot, Noah, because if the Bengals are going to win, he's the MVP, in my opinion.
Yep.
For me, anyway, I'm going to go Cooper Kupp. I've been harping on it, and I'm going to go with it. He is at plus 600. Seems a little high, but I just think it's going to be very reminiscent of Julian Edelman.
That's hard. That's hard, though. You got to hope that Stafford doesn't do well and nobody else does well.
I think what you talked about, Peter, where the Rams are kind of afraid of Stafford low-key, I think that's going to go into their game plan a little bit. I think it's going to be a lot of Cooper Kupp.
Your Odell first touchdown is going to screw you, though, right?
No, I don't think so. I really don't. I mean, if he throws a little fade to Odell, I'm telling you, I think Cooper Kupp's going to put 12 catches, 160 yards receiving. I think that's going to be his line. So I like him as the Super Bowl MVP. He cements probably as one of the best seasons an NFL receiver has ever had. Yep. And I think it's going to go full circle here. No one picked Stafford, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think if Stafford has a big game, I think Cooper Kupp's going to have a big game, like you said. So I think Cooper Kupp, in my opinion, is going to have over 100 yards, over 10 catches, and probably 1 or 2 touchdowns. So,
okay. Does anyone else have any Super Bowl thoughts?
I need someone's opinion, though. Does anybody watch the Puppy Bowl?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Oh my God, you don't know what that is? All right, listen. Puppy Bowl 18 this year. It's been 18 years in a row. It's a thing before the Super Bowl on Animal Planet, like 3:00, where they just show off puppies like being adopted, and you can adopt them after the game. Team Rough versus Team Fluff. No,
Not a big puppy bowl guy.
No, are you a
guys-
puppy bowl
you
guy?
guys all suck.
I mean, I watch the highlights here and there.
That's what I'm
but
saying. Like they like run around with like a squeaker toy, like stupid
awesome.
like football thing, and they like go in the end zone, and they like look. The halftime show is like a bunch of cats. It's pretty cool.
This episode has proven why Peter is just. Peter, you're the most fascinating person in the world.
Pretty cool.
You're an avid Winter Olympic fan. You follow how many gold medals the U.S. have had. You talk about squids.
Wait,
and-
you don't do that, real talk. You don't like every day like look up the medal count for the thing. Shout out to the Netherlands. They have 4.
Maybe in the summer, on not an everyday basis.
Peter, you
Yeah.
like Luch?
I don't
Yeah,
really
what?
care about the
You
Winter
like
Olympics.
Luch?
Luch, yeah, that's fine.
Big Luch guy over here. I like Luch.
Well, without Carr, Noah, thank you for joining us. Always great to have you guys on. You want to plug Rough in the Basket and your socials?
Yes, sir. Listen to us this week. Our episode might be coming out before this or after this, whatever. Regardless, listen to Rough in the Basket this week. We're doing the same thing, talking about the Super Bowl. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter at Rough the Basket. You can follow us on Instagram at Rough in the Basket. Follow me on Twitter at bcar_13. I'm sure I'll be tweeting about the Super Bowl and everything that's going on with it. And Noah, you want to plug yourself?
Check me out on Instagram and Berndt37. That's all.
Boom. Okay. So
Jason, this
check-
is the best show we've ever done.
it's a great show.
I say that all the time, but no,
I
this is.
felt like
this is hands
last
down the
week's
best
show. Last week's show with Seth and Dave was fantastic, and I think this one is definitely in the same playing field. I'm excited for the Super Bowl. I hope everybody enjoys the conclusion of the NFL season, because I'm going to be real sad after the season's over, Peter. But
Yeah.
Peter, next week we're going to have to talk about some different things. NBA trade deadline. We can recap that. We can update on the Major League Baseball lockout. We can recap the Super Bowl.
Olympics.
Peter, we can do the
Olympics.
Olympics. Yep, we can do all that fun stuff. But it's great having you guys on. We'll have you guys back on soon, maybe before the draft.
Let's do it, man. Thanks you so much for
Lions.
having us on.
The absolute Lions have a top 3 pick, so see how it goes.
Yep. Thanks so much for having us on.
Everyone enjoy the Super Bowl.
Been a good time.
Peter, do you have a
Stay
line?
adorable. Get it?
No.
Adorable. Ah, no. Stay adorable.